Hello, Love Wrestling. Technically Monday, April 7th, but late. AEW Dynasty just ended, and we are here to go through it and talk about it. This looks so oh yeah, hold on, wait a minute. I'm already messing up. Don't mind me. Boom, there it is.
I don't blame you at all.
I was like, there we go. I was like, something's missing here in the bottom. But how we doing, everybody? Welcome on in. I did see that, Lawrence. Good for Toronto. They needed something. Good for Vladdy. Good for Toronto. I did see that.
Somebody needed something good to happen.
Well, I mean, let's be real. All right. We're just going to get into it. There's no beating around the bush here. First and foremost, I'm going to say this right out of the chute, and you can call me old. You can call me whatever you want to call me. On a Sunday night, ending a pay-per-view at 12:20 at night is unacceptable behavior. That is unacceptable behavior by a company. A pay-per-view should never go that late on a Sunday night when you know the majority of your audience has to wake up early on a Monday. That's first. Now, secondly, I talked about AEW Dynasty a lot this past week, Drew. We talked about it on Thursday on Firmly AEW. I talked about it on Thursday night with the great Phil Lindsay and Pluggo on Between Two Beards. I went on our boys, the Kicking Out podcast. We did a prediction show, which I picked a perfect card, by the way.
You know, I just want to say,
yeah.
I also picked a perfect card, and I wasn't invited to predict
that is
with
something.
You.
That is something that you will need to. You know, you got to reach out to the Kicking Out boys. That needs to go. You know, I am only one man. However, I had talked about AEW Dynasty at length, and I was very open of how I thought the proper thing to do would be to strap Swerve and give Swerve the belt. However, my pick was Jon Moxley. Because like we talked about on Firmly on Thursday, I said I was not going to convince myself that this was going to end. And I'm not going to drop the F-bomb that I dropped on Firmly on Thursday because we're within the first 10 minutes. But the exact quote I said is, I'll believe this is over when I see it with my effing eyes. I will say as a whole, I thought this was a good show. However, for AEW pay-per-view standards, I thought it was a step back from what we usually get from them. But I thought it was a good show overall. And I thought, going to be honest with you, I thought the match with Swerve and Moxley, I thought it was pretty good. The first half was a little boring, but the second half and it became a really good match. Like I liked the match. Then we get to the end. The match is chaotic, and we're going to start with the main event, and then we'll circle back. But we're going to start with what we all just saw. That's why you guys are here. That's what you want to effing talk about. That's what we're going to talk about. Okay? We have this match, brutal from the start. Swerve's bleeding early on. Moxley really just beating the crap out of Swerve. Some good bumps, but Swerve just keeps coming, as you know he's going to keep coming because he's that guy. It's just, Lawrence, I don't disagree. Having a no DQ stip would have made that, because I mean, it was just supposed to be a regular match, was it not? They let a lot go for what a regular match, even though we know it's the Death Riders.
Every Death Riders match is a no DQ match.
Well, fine, but maybe that should be their thing then. I don't know. So we get to the end here. There's this fantastic spot on a ladder where Swerve does the stomp off the ladder through a table with Moxley, kind of his big comeback spot of the match. It's really good. And then the chaos happens after that. We get back in the ring. There's a ref bump, and the ref bump involves a chair, so he's out forever. Hangman Adam Page comes down the ring, and I loved what they did with Hangman, because he comes down and he's setting up for the buckshot, and he's looking dead at Swerve. And then him and Moxley, Swerve and Moxley are like getting to their feet at the same time. It was just perfectly laid out, and they're on both sides, and he's looking dead at Swerve, and then he peeks over at Moxley, and you can see that he's like, and the crowd's like, oh, the crowd's getting ready, like he's gonna hit Moxley. I was saying it. I was like, he's gonna hit Moxley. And then he looks confused. Death Riders come out. They pull him out, and they attack him. And no, here's Lou. Lou's like, yeah, I saw her too. He's like, I got to get my piece in here. That happens. Hangman starts fighting off the Death Riders, and in that nonsense, he ends up giving Mox a dead eye. He ends up giving Mox a dead eye. And then the Death Riders take Hangman. They take him away. And then the Ops come out, which I love.
This I did not expect.
I did not expect it either, but I actually love this part. I love the Ops going for the trios. I was cool with that. I very much got excited. I popped for the Ops. They come out, they shoo everybody away, so we're back to Hangman and Swerve. Moxley is now down from the dead eye. Swerve throws a chair at him. Brings him over to the corner, hits the stomp, and it's like, holy crap, here we go. They're actually going to do it. Swerve's going to win. They're both laid out. Swerve is crawling because he messed up his knee earlier in the match. He's crawling. Lights go out. And I'm just like, here we go. And I wasn't expecting what we saw.
Neither was I.
But in my brain, once those lights went out, I was like, yep, he's retaining. I said, he's retaining. Whatever it is, they're doing it again. And the lights come back on, and Swerve is in the middle of the ring on his knees with a young buck holding each arm. And they hit the, what do they call that? What's that? Is it the
V-trigger?
No, that's what Omega does.
Oh, no, not the V-trigger.
They have like a corny name for it. You know what it is. I'm having a brain fart. Don't mind me.
Yeah.
But they hit their move there, the double knee. And then Moxley crawls over and covers Swerve, and the referee gets in the ring, and we have the slow 3 count, and Jon Moxley retains the AEW title again, thanks to the Young Bucks. Now, the last time we did see the Young Bucks, they were fleeing an arena after shredding documents, running from the Death Riders. I do think we need to take that into account, because obviously it does not make sense in the moment to me right now. It does not make sense to me. However, they were fleeing the arena for a reason, because either the Death Riders were out to get them, or the Death Riders had something on them or something.
Right.
So we're going to have to see how, but it needs to land, Drew, because my God, that was one of the like, and again, it's just, to me, woof. And it was just like, man, yeah, I don't know. Because now, to me, he's not losing the belt till All In now. So whatever they have planned for Double or Nothing, whatever, he's winning it. Like, to me right now, he is not losing that title until Will Ospreay beats him at All In, after Will Ospreay wins the Owen. That is a lose that enough. He's disgusted. He's like, I'm out of here. $50 for that. No, I'm just kidding. Hyperbole. I love professional wrestling. I had a good time with this show tonight. I had a very good time. But obviously now was it going to be the Young Bucks versus Swerve and Hangman in future?
Why, though?
You tell me.
Like,
Because Swerve,
okay.
we got to break. It is late. I don't want to be here until the wee hours of the morning, but we obviously have to talk this through. And then we'll kind of go through the rest of the card because this was a good show.
I will say, yeah, I definitely agree with what you said in the beginning, which is what time is it now? 10:30. Don't fucking do this again. It was way too late for a Sunday. Don't do this again. When I know you want to be the alternative, but this is not the good alternative. Okay? I don't need a 12-match card. And he said, listen, I was considering going to this show a month ago. Thank God I did not.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Because I would have had to be driving home right now at 12:30 in the morning, and it's 2 hours. 2 hours.
Yeah. Are you before we continue, your audio is awful right now.
Oh, it is?
You sound like, yeah, I can hear a lot of background noise, first and foremost, a ton of background noise. And secondly, your audio is going in and out. Like at one point you sound like a computer, like a robot.
Really?
Yeah. It doesn't sound like you, and it doesn't sound like it normally sounds when you're in this. I don't know if you're wearing different headphones or you're.
No.
Yeah, it sounds weird, dude. Like we can hear you and it's fine, but like the volume of your audio is going in, it sounds weird. Doesn't sound great.
Let me, you know what? Let me lower my volume.
Yeah, and there's like weird noises being made, and it's like boom, boom. It's like making weird noises. But regardless of that.
Okay, how about now? Better?
Now you sound better.
Okay, good.
Yes, now you sound much better. Now you sound much better. Well, now you just mean, oh, he's yelling at somebody. You see that? He's yelling at somebody. He's like, pipe the fuck down. He's like, I put myself on mute. Pipe the fuck down. Stop making noises.
So, yeah. So don't do this again. AEW.
Well, they did. They're going to continue to do it.
I mean, with the timing.
Oh, yeah. This unacceptable. I said it at the beginning. Unacceptable to have a show go on that late. And then that's the ending you give us. You not only are you going to have a show go on till 12:30 on a Sunday, like it's a normal thing to do. Exactly. Like we should be doing that regularly. And then you're going to give us that type of ending. My God. Yo, thank you for the Twitch raid over on Twitch. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you all. We appreciate you all here. Welcome on in. We just started. We're talking about the main event and the decision with the Bucks coming in. Listen, I'm not even upset that the Young Bucks are back. I was ready for the Young Bucks to come back. I was ready for the Young Bucks to come back.
I am very, so you see, as you see right down here, I put,
yeah.
Because there's a question mark there, because I'm very torn about this. And I said on Thursday, in order for me to be okay with Jon Moxley retaining, it has to make sense. Now, does it make sense? Now I'm actually.
Well, I don't think we know yet, so we have to wait. I don't think you can answer that right now.
Right, like I'm now sitting here going, does it make sense? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, okay, we're definitively gonna get an end, and either Mox is gonna retain or Swerve is gonna win, and we're gonna be all elated and happy, or we're gonna be enraged and pitiful and angry. But I don't know how to feel, because I don't know if this made sense. So I don't know how to feel about this.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of it's again, I thought this was probably Moxley's best match of his title run here. This is probably the best match he had. You knew you were getting shenanigans because we always get shenanigans.
Of course.
It was going to happen, but I thought they actually did it well with Hangman and the Ops. I was kind of into that. I got into that. Like, I was sitting here watching it on the monitor, and I was like, oh, yeah, all right. Like, I saw myself getting excited for the Hangman stuff, obviously. But then even when the Ops came out, I was like, oh, all right, like, cool. Yeah, I'm into that. Like, I was kind of into everything. And the ending itself, it's just, I don't know. I keep on feeling like, we've been saying it for a few months now, at least going back 3 months, that it feels like, okay, this is the time that we're taking it off Moxley because nobody really cares about this a ton. And then they just keep on doing it and doing it and doing it. And it's like, man, again, I'm not one of those people, but you see a lot of people on Twitter saying $50 for 3 straight terrible endings of the pay-per-view after a great show. And it's getting really old.
But see, here's the thing, though.
And blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah.
Here's the thing. I genuinely don't know if this was a bad ending.
Yeah, you can just, we just watched it, man. Did you think in real time? Did you like it or not? That tells you if you thought it was bad or not. Did you like it or not? No, How did you feel?
I don't know.
Did you feel good about it or did you feel bad about it? Because I'll tell you how I felt about it.
I don't know.
I felt pretty crappy. I felt pretty crappy about it.
Okay, I'm watching.
When it happened in real time, I was like, woof.
I watch it in real time, like you. I see it happen, and I see them do the whatever move that is. I still don't remember the name.
Yeah, what the fuck? How are we forgetting that name? I know they've been gone for a while, but it's some sort. It's something Trigger. It's like a stupid, corny Young Bucks. How BTE Trigger? Thank you, Mike.
Oh, so it was a Trigger, just not V Trigger.
No, yes, it's not V Trigger, but I knew that, but I was like, it's some sort of fucking thing. It's having a complete.
At first, I thought it was the Meltzer driver, but that's that other.
No, that's a different thing. Because they have the EVP Trigger, and then they have the BTE Trigger. I don't know if that's the same thing, but not whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so they do the Trigger, the BTE Trigger, or EVP Trigger, whatever. They were dressed like the EVPs, though, so it probably was the EVP Trigger.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, well, all right, this is happening. And I do remember once the 3 came, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I put my head on my microphone.
Yeah. So then you think it was bad.
Like,
yeah, so then you think it was bad. That's your answer. You think it was bad.
But
it might not be a bad story if they play it right on Wednesday. I assume we need to hear how it lands with the Bucks and their reasoning. But in the moment, your reaction, you did not like it. You did not like it.
Yeah, but it wasn't like last month when I came here and we did our first post.
Yeah, you were angry. You were angry.
That's not how I'm acting right now.
Yeah.
So I cursed in the first minute of the podcast.
Yeah, you were very upset.
Already didn't want to do it.
You were very upset.
I
remember distinctly.
This reaction is a complete 180 from that.
Yeah.
So, and I thought that this was going to be my reaction if Moxley won.
Yeah.
That was going to be my reaction the first time. So this reaction confuses me.
Yeah.
I genuinely do not know.
Yeah, Jason in the chat saying Drew seems like he's handling it way better. He is.
Oh, Jason, you were here last month.
Mike the ref said he didn't mind the ending. Johnny, our pal Johnny in the chat, he says got to be setting up for blood and guts. Maybe.
Oh. Maybe.
Sunday Sinner saying Hangman, Swerve, Ops, and Kingston versus the Death Riders and Bucks, Anarchy in the Arena is his prediction.
Oh.
Mike the ref thinks that this is going to lead to Jack Perry being the wild card in the Owen against Hangman. He says that makes a lot more sense now if they do that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, Mike. That's a good idea. Swerve and Hangman versus the Bucks at All In if they want to go that route.
I Yeah, I'm just like,
Yeah. And again, like we said it, like we said before we dove in, like, listen, we obviously we need to wait for the promo or whatever it is that we're going to see from the Bucks where they explain why they did what they did. But the last time and Mike, because the reason why I'm saying it again is because Mike just mentioned it in the chat and on Twitch. The reason why, or the last time we saw the Young Bucks on AEW television prior to tonight, they were fleeing an arena after we saw them shredding documents in their office, getting away, fleeing from the Death Riders. They didn't want to be caught, and the Death Riders were looking for them as well. The Death Riders were looking for them, and they were shredding documents and getting the fuck out of Dodge. So obviously, I'm assuming that's all going to connect, and I assume that'll be part of the story that, whether it's,
and that's
hey,
gotta
Moxley
happen on Wednesday.
yeah, oh, you can't fuck around and wait. No way. No way. No way in hell you can fuck around and wait. You cannot. I mean, yeah.
I'm kind of perplexed. I really don't know how to feel about this.
Yeah. I mean, we're just going to have to see. I mean, listen, I still think, I wanted a perfect card and I picked Moxley to retain. All right. So I'm not upset that I picked a perfect card. All right. I'm not upset about it.
Of course not. No.
I'm not upset about it.
Does that mean that you won the
I
KOP
tied.
title?
I tied. So now the tiebreaker is we're going to pick Mania. We're going to pick Mania with Paul from the Kicking Out Pod. So it's just me and one other guy.
Okay.
So we're going to do a one because they're an AEW podcast, so they do it for every AEW pay-per-view. So instead of waiting for Double or Nothing, I was like, well, why don't we, the tiebreaker for you and me, Paul, why don't we just pick Mania? That way, by the time you get to Double or Nothing, you'll know who, because they have a belt and a champion and all that stuff. I was like,
I've seen it. It's very pretty.
I was like, you'll know who all the champions. You know who the champion is when you get there, which will be me. But you know what I mean. So yeah. But anyway,
yes, Tanner,
I digress.
I have been watching, and I do want in this tournament, by the way.
I do digress.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I did send out a tweet, ... what with question mark, and I sent that tweet, and I have not looked at Twitter at all. No. I can imagine what's happening there.
Yeah, I mean, well, listen, people are always it's always happening.
And the thing is, like, last month when this happened, I was convinced that Copeland was winning.
Yeah, I wasn't.
And the reason why I was so mad was because I hated this Death Riders shit.
Mm.
But after Revolution, as we have also been discussing on Firmly, the Death Riders thing has been getting better. And tonight, even, the Death Riders thing was good. Like, it was not, like, Marina Shafir actually getting involved in stuff for the first time, really, since October, I think has even added more to the story now. So I'm not upset, really, anymore at the Death Riders. I'm just confused as to why it's continuing.
Yeah, it's fair.
So we need that explanation, and that explanation will determine whether I go to spring break in 2 weeks. Because I don't know if I will be spend the money.
I will be there no matter what. It's in my neck of the woods. We're going to get Athena and Mercedes there, I think. I think that's where we're getting Athena and Mercedes right there.
So that might be tempting to come for, just that alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if anybody was expecting me to act like I was acting after Revolution, sorry, I just don't know. I just don't know. So we just got to find out. I'm reluctantly saying I'm willing to let it play out.
You got to. But Jon Moxley retains the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. So we have to see what's next for Swerve now. Obviously, like as Johnny says, the next Swerve Hangman segment is going to be interesting. It sure is. We got to hear from the Bucks. There are a lot of answers to this story. I think we need to hear from Moxley too. Like, not only are the Bucks back and they screwed Swerve, but like, are they in the Death Riders? Do they just have a business arrangement with the Death? Like, we need to know really everything.
The EVP part of this. See, now if we didn't have the last time that we saw the Young Bucks with them shredding the documents and running away from the Death Riders, now, if they were helping the Death Riders,
yeah,
that would lend to the beginning promos that John Moxley was cutting about this not being your company anymore.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it could still.
Boy, it took us a long time to circle back to that.
You know,
Who would
have thought that, it all comes around and it's the Young Bucks. Oddly enough, it's the Young Bucks that everything centers around still after all this time. The damn Bucks.
If they were just leaving the arena and not shredding documents and the Death Riders weren't looking for them, or if they were, you know what, you could even say
maybe they were shredding the original AEW ownership papers because they signed it over to Moxley and crew because it's not our company anymore.
Maybe that could be possible, but there needs to be tie-in to the shredding and why they helped Moxley.
Yeah, and we'll get
hopefully
that.
We see that on Wednesday.
Yeah, we should get that pretty immediately on Wednesday. And then we'll kind of go from there. And on Thursdays, firmly, I'm sure we'll be able to dive deeper into this. But all right, let's circle back to the front. Ophelia's here. She said she did not like it. She hated it, actually. And that's fair. You are probably not alone. You are probably not alone. I am not there.
I will say, though, let me just say this last thing, though.
Yeah.
I can imagine the vitriol on social media right now as a result of this.
Yeah.
But these, as much as we wanted Swerve to win, we can't have our cake and eat it too. All right, we've got to now. There's a new development in the story. It took a while to get here. But there is now a new development in the story that we need to get the answers to. Mm-hmm. And once we do, then we can have the vitriol on social media. Because if this was just, I could tell you my reaction and the reaction on social media right now would be justified if it was just that standard Death Riders things happened and Moxley pinned Swerve and that was it.
Yeah.
But this is a very crucial turning point in the story right now. If we did not get this crucial turning point, then I would be with the social media people.
Yeah.
But the inclusion now of this new inkling into the story makes me go, okay, I'm not screaming and cursing or Swerve didn't win, but I'm also questioning why this happened. And so now we need this explanation. The problem is that this explanation is not really going to cut it for mostly anybody because everyone's just want to just yap away on social media about it. But you can come here to Firmly AEW and we will not be like the social media people. Okay?
Drew, you're not going to be negative? Come on. Let's be real.
Well, listen, I'm negative about things.
But
I am not negative in a bad way. No. Like a lot of people are. I'm not negative like
we don't have to get
grifter.
We got to move. It's been a half hour. We've talked about one match. We got to get moving.
Let's go.
We got to get moving. I do not want to be here till 2 a.m. I don't know about yours. Jason doesn't believe you, though. He said, sure, bud. He doesn't believe you. No, you're not going to stay positive. Pre-show, we're not going to dive into, although there was one very cool thing on the pre-show. But AR Fox and Top Flight defeated Action Andretti, Leo Rush, and Nick Wayne. No, I'm sorry. Nick Wayne and Crew won that one. My bad.
Who are made up of Action Andretti and Leo Rush.
Yes. Then what I thought was the coolest part of the pre-show, obviously, is Platinum Max Caster comes out doing his open challenge shtick, and the lights go out, and it is the returning, repackaged Anthony Bowens. And he had new music. He had a new Titantron. He was with Billy Gunn still, which I kind of liked.
Yeah.
He had a new little entrance outfit. I loved how they're calling him the Pride of Pro Wrestling. Obviously, I think there's a double meaning to that I think is very cool.
And I love it.
He plays baseball, and I think he played baseball like at a semi-professional level. Like he's very good at baseball. So he's calling himself the 5-tool player, which is a baseball term as well, which means you're good at everything, which was very good. I like that. I like everything that I saw. Obviously, he handled Platinum Max Caster very easily.
Very easily. Yes.
And he has kind of like a rolling kind of punch elbow thing called the Molly Wop. That's kind of his new finisher. That's what he did to finish off Caster here relatively quickly.
Yeah.
Great to see Bowens back. Great to see Bowens get a big babyface push. He is a star. We've always thought that. And I thought
a great reaction.
Yeah, I would have liked this to have been on the main card, even though I know it was quick and kind of bullshitty. But still, it was a really great moment, and there was a full crowd in the audience, and it was very cool. It was very, very cool.
And is it not also insane that let's go, Max, you're the best wrestler alive?
Yeah, it's getting over. It's getting over. He's getting over doing this.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's getting over doing this. This has been good for everybody. This has been good for everybody because he is getting over doing that, man. He is getting over. All right, and then we go to the main card. There were 10 matches on the main card. We obviously just talked about the main event and the happenings at length. There's a buddy popping in here saying hello. Drew, I'll tell you what, this show started off with a bang, my man, because we had the first round Owen Hart or foundational tournament on the men's side. It was Will Ospreay versus Kevin Knight. And let me tell you, Kevin Knight, I don't know if I can remember the best week or 8 days that somebody's had in AEW, but let me tell you, what a performance by this kid. What a performance by this kid in this match. He hung step for step with Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
Hung.
Incredible.
Very good. Very, very good. This kid is a future world champion. This kid is the future in general. I don't know why. That's the second time my voice is crackled. But this kid is the future in general. This match was a very good start and incredible. We know what to expect from Will Ospreay. All right. We know that we're watching greatness every time Will Ospreay steps in the ring. This kid having a match like he did with Jay White last week on Collision, but that before Jay White got hurt, the tag match we saw with Ospreay on Wednesday, and then he has this match, and then Jay White put him over after the match in a promo. Ospreay put him over this week after the tag match. Ospreay put him over after this match. Brother, what a night. What a shining spotlight put on Kevin Knight with this opening match. Tremendous.
He is stunning.
Yeah.
Like, I've not seen Kevin Knight before coming to AEW.
Yeah.
And I'm just stunned, like, that he could keep up with, like you said, like, he could keep up with Will Ospreay in the same pace of Will Ospreay. Stunning. Yeah. Absolutely stunning. He lost, but he did not lose.
Oh, no.
Absolutely this was a star-making performance from Kevin Knight, 100%. And I am hyped as fuck to see him wrestle almost weekly. I hope that he doesn't now get pushed away for a little while.
No, he absolutely shouldn't. He absolutely shouldn't.
I need to keep seeing him on TV because he is stunning.
I want him to go right for the new TNT champion that we'll talk about in a few matches. But that means they might have to lose that, so I don't know if that's what you really want to do. But you know what I mean. But I that's something I would like to see. But anyway, some of the spots in this, that when he reversed the Styles Clash on the outside to spike Ospreay with the DDT on the ramp, That
Oh
was
my God.
what a spot that was. And he did it so smartly. Like Osprey's trying to get him with the arms because everybody flails their arms when they get caught in that. And so they can,
Right.
and he was like keeping his, like he purposefully like kept his arms like this so Osprey couldn't do it. And then he reversed it with his athleticism into the DDT. Great spot. Then he
Great.
Osprey
Absolutely.
later hits the Styles Clash in the ring after a good power bomb little transition into it, but Knight kicks out. Then he hit the springboard, the Os cutter. Knight kept on kicking out, but then finally the hidden blade. And that was the one that Knight did not kick out of. But oh man, a star-making performance for that kid. And Will Ospreay was obviously wonderful in this match as well, as you would expect. Has some new tattoos, some new ink that we saw on Dynamite. He's got some new tattoo, which looks nice as well. I mean, with what we saw at the end, Drew, I gotta think we are on a crash course for Moxley and Ospreay at All In. This is how I thought. This is how I thought. And we really didn't dive too much into it on Firmly, but like I thought the winner of this match dictated who wins the Owen too. Because if Swerve wins the match, I think Hangman's winning the Owen. I think Hangman's winning the Owen if Swerve wins this match. But now that we know Moxley retained, I think it's Ospreay all day. Now,
I mean,
they did do something in the match tonight that it could be Hangman. They could, because they did have the Moxley Hangman interaction where he hit him with the dead eye. So you could get to that, maybe. Which again, Hangman's my dude. Hangman's my dude. If Hangman's going to be the guy, I'm all in. I'm all in, no pun intended on that. But we'll have to see how it plays out. But Ospreay and Kevin Knight were just a spectacular opener. And then guess what? We moved to what I thought ended up being a pretty damn good tag match for these tag titles.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Yeah.
I just noticed that our boxers are like higher than normal.
Yeah, I don't know what's
going on. Cutting off the Firmly AEW logo.
There it is. Boom.
Oh, there we go.
There's like a new layout. I don't know what's going on. I think it's for when we have guests. I don't know. We don't really have guests, so I don't think it's going to affect us, but I think it affects the other. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
We then had the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. It was the Hurt Syndicate versus the Learning Tree, Big Bill and Brian Keith. Pretty standard fare, as you would expect from these four. I thought it was a solid match. I thought it was a good tag match. But at the end, there was some stuff going on outside the ring, and Big Bill got kind of thrown into the barricade, and we see MJF appear out of nowhere wearing the diamond ring.
Was going to happen.
Yep. Wearing the diamond ring. He socks Big Bill across the head, kind of incapacitating him, which then lets Shelton Benjamin and Bobby handle Brian Keith. Bobby Lashley hits a spear, and Shelton pins Brian Keith. 1, 2, 3, and the Hurt Business retain the AEW Tag Team Championships. Crowd was hot from the jump. They were singing the song the second the Hurt Syndicate came out. We hurt people. I mean, it's just
and they're singing that song before we heard people even
exactly.
On the
They're just saying it. It's just they just said it from the jump. I thought the crowd. I mean, you expect good crowds from Philly. Philly brings passionate wrestling fans. Like it's always a good crowd when they're in Philly.
They were the hot crowd.
They were a great crowd tonight. It was great. There were parts of the show where I felt like they were a little quiet, but for the most part, they were hot and really good all night. But I thought this was a solid tag match. Nobody expected the Learning Tree to win, so I think we got to what we got. MJF kind of trying to prove to Bobby Lashley that he's let him in.
And I thought, like I predicted on Thursday, I thought that was going to make Bobby mad.
They looked confused. They're kind of like they're still kind of like, what the hell,
So maybe the anger will come on Wednesday.
Yeah, because it was definitely one of those things where it was like they weren't angry about it, but you could tell they're still not like into it yet. But they're just like, oh, well, we gotta have this. Yeah. And then we had another first round or quarterfinal match, technically, in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. This one on the women's side of things. It was Mercedes Moné going up against Julia Hart. Early on, Mercedes slipped a few times on the mat and was kind of messing, she wasn't messing up there. She was just losing her footing. I don't know what was going on. But after that, though, these two Good match.
Yeah,
Good match.
I agree.
Yeah.
It took a little bit to get going, like you were saying, and I think towards the end it started to pick up, but it was, Mercedes had been on like a good stretch of matches. This one wasn't up to that level, really, for me. I think you agree.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't hate it at all. But I'm just like, it was like, okay, this is a little slower, and like there were some moves that didn't go as planned, it seems. But I mean, we all knew that Mercedes were winning because she's facing Athena.
Of course.
So it was fine. It was a fine match. It was nice to see Julia Hart again.
Yeah. The entrance just.
That is. If you've not seen that entrance,
it's a thing of beauty.
It's
a I know we haven't seen it in a bit because she was out for a while and she hasn't wrestled a ton since she's come back. But like, that is one of the best produced entrances that AEW. It might be the best produced entrance that AEW has on the Raw. Like, they are just real good, real good. All right, we then move on, and we actually see the first time we see the Death Riders on the evening as they are defending the Trios Championships against Rated FTR. Now, obviously, there's the match, and then there's everything that occurred after the match here. We're going to tackle these two things separately. So first and foremost, I really liked the match. I thought it was a really good match. Listen, look, there are some. You're talking about Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, Pac, FTR, and Adam Cole. There are some all-time top quality workers, performers in this ring, and we saw what happens when you put 6 guys of that caliber in this ring. This match was very good. It was a very good trios match. But I think we were all waiting for what happened after the match to maybe even happen during the match. But we were all waiting for that part of it. But the Death Riders did beat Rated FTR.
And there was some there were a couple of spots that happened in this match that lead to the obvious ending, of course, which was at one point Dax reaches over and stops Cash from tagging Copeland in. And then, of course, there was the finish, or the spot that played into the finish.
Yes.
Which was,
Wheeler Yuta is going to go for the Busaiku knee on Edge. Whoops. On Adam Copeland. I don't give a shit. It's always going to happen. I've been watching the guy for fucking 30 years, and for 28 of them, he was Edge.
I actually, on my watch along tonight, I said Edge for the first time.
Sorry, guys. Fucking
long time.
Yeah. Burn the, light the torches. Light the torches. I called him Edge. End the show. Anyway, he's going to hit the Busaiku knee on Adam Copeland. And Dax actually kind of like sacrifices himself for Adam Copeland.
Right.
That's what you're talking about, right? Are you talking about something different towards the end?
I don't know if I would say it was that he sacrificed himself.
All right. It looked like it to me, kind of. Like he stepped in front.
So he was going to spear Yuta, but then almost, and I thought he was going to spear Dax.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yes.
Yeah. So he stops, but then someone distracts Dax. I don't know if it was Claudio or Pac. And then Wheeler, I think, takes out Copeland.
Yes.
And then he does the Busaiku knee to Dax.
But didn't Dax and Adam bang heads at one point too? They like ran into each other and they banged skulls, right?
Did they bang skulls?
Because Yuta hit the Busaiku knee on Dax, and Dax is the one that got pinned. But I thought right before that they ran into each other or they banged heads.
Well, no, they ran. He was almost. Copeland was almost going to spear Dax.
Yes, but did they run into each other and make contact with each other? which led to
It was close. I don't know
yeah,
if I would say they made contact with each other, but I remember Copeland was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 you
yeah,
okay?" And like he went like this. So I don't know if he
yeah,
touched him in that moment. Um, but that played into the finish, which were then the Busaiku knee on Dax, and Dax gets pinned. Now, what
mhm.
I thought was going to happen was that they were going to have that happen with Cash, and then Cash was going to be the one in the Dax position.
Yeah.
But
No, I think it actually made sense the way they did
this
it
made
perfectly.
better. This did it better, and this was incredible.
It was very good. So post match, Dax is kind of sitting in the ring, just lost, kind of getting his bearings together. Copeland and Cash are standing. Copeland is the first one that goes over and puts his hand out
Just like
to
Collision.
to lift up Dax. Dax takes his hand, and then Cash comes over. He lifts him up. They do the same thing they did on Collision, literally the same
Which
way.
I
They pull him
watched,
up.
by the way.
I did too. Which they pulled him up. They start hugging. Cash breaks the hug first and
Yes.
kind of takes a few steps off to the side.
In that moment, I was like, "Oh, he's going to clothesline him."
You thought Cash was going to do it first.
I thought Cash was going to do it.
Fair. So Cash takes a few steps away, and I'm like, "Ooh!" And I for a split second, I was like, "Oh, Cash is going to wail him," but he didn't. And then Dax pulls Adam Copeland in and gives him a pile driver. Just gives him a pile driver right on his neck. And then Cash turns around and he's looking shocked. Dax immediately goes to the outside. He grabs 2 chairs. And immediately he's like, he's fucking, all right, we're doing a concerto. Like he's doing it. So he slides in the ring. He puts one under Edge's. Damn it. He puts one under Adam Copeland's head. Every time. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit, bro. And then he gives the other one. He presents the other one to Dax. To Cash. And he goes, you do it.
Well, remember too, Cash was shoving him and was like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" He was really playing this up. It was so good.
So Dax presents the second chair to Cash, saying, hit him with it. And Cash is looking at the chair. He takes it. He throws it down. He shoves Dax. And you're like, okay, here we go. So then Cash picks Adam Copeland up from his feet. And when he picks him up, he puts him right into the friggin' shadow machine. And they do the shadow machine to Adam Copeland. Thing of beauty.
Brilliant.
Oh, the way they did it. Thing of beauty. Thing of beauty.
I loved it so much.
So FTR are on the same page. Then Dax grabs the chair and he sets him up, and they give Edge a spike pile driver, Cash coming off the second rope on top of the chair. Then they set Adam Copeland up for the concerto, and Cash grabs the chair and doesn't even hesitate. He just goes boom and hits him with the concerto. The security, the wrestlers, the local talent make their way down to the ring. They're trying to break it up. They got a stretcher coming out. And then at one point, Cash, they're mocking Adam Copeland. The medics checking on Copeland, but they hit him with the chair again. He hits him with the chair again when the medics checking on him.
And it's all Cash.
It's all Cash. Cash is the one. And then Cash takes the neck brace from the EMTs. This was ridiculous. Cash, they're coming down to the ring. They got a neck brace. Cash grabs the neck brace and he lies he lies on the gurney, and he puts the neck brace on, and Dax like fakingly like is shocking him in the chest, resurrecting him back to life. Just they turn it, and then they push the stretcher over. They knock it over.
Oh my god,
dicks!
Oh my god,
hilarious!
Laughed my ass off.
Yes, and then Adam Copeland gets stretchered out. Man,
and I thought they were going to come back and turn it over.
Good turn. That was a good turn right there.
That was
a good turn by FTR.
Was
good stuff.
Incredible.
Yeah, very good
Incredible.
stuff. Very good stuff. And mark it down. We've been talking about it for a few weeks, but we talked about it on Thursday. All In, FTR, and I'm going to call him by this name on purpose this time, versus Edge and Christian. It's happening. Anyway, obviously Adam Copeland and Christian. All right, I get it, but it's Edge and Christian. Come on.
He
guys.
has that shirt right now that says Legend.
Legend Christian, baby.
Legend Christian.
Legend Christian, however they want to do that. Yeah.
That's it. I just gave it to you. We just gave it to you right there, AEW.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Seahawk, thanks for popping in. We talked at length about the Young Bucks and Moxley. The first half hour of the show was all towards that. We're a little in the middle. We want to.
What was that?
Seahawk 249 on Twitch. He just said, "What about John? The Young Bucks helping John?" So we talked about it at length at the top.
I thought you were talking about the other Seahawk.
Oh no, different one.
Cameron.
So
whoa, hi.
Yeah, and we'll answer your first question at the end of the show. Sandy, what's going on, my friend? Good morning to you. We're talking about AEW Dynasty, and the next match we had on Dynasty was for the AEW Women's World Championship. It was Megan Bayne versus Toni Storm.
This was, I'm going to say it again. This was another thing that I said, one thing definitely has to happen. And if it doesn't happen, it was the wrong thing to do. And I was wrong.
Yeah, I feel like the way this match played out, it worked for me. It worked for me. We were both aligned on this, but I was one of those people that said, hey, you don't have many opportunities to do it. Have Megan Bayne go over. I was like, have Megan Bayne go over. She doesn't have to keep it long, but have her go over.
Yeah.
But seeing, first of all, the video package they showed for Toni Storm.
Oh my God. Why did they not have her shown going up the steps?
When they were showing that, I was like, oh, this is like a ode to Rocky. Like, why she's going to go up the steps. That's like the famous thing in Rocky is him going up the steps, but they didn't do it.
Yeah.
Maybe the weather was the weather too shitty. Maybe it was bad. It was rainy and crappy here the last couple of days. So I don't know if it was like that in Philly too. But either way, the way
Luther coming out as Mickey, that was tremendous. Just incredible.
The way this match actually played out, and again, we didn't want Megan Bayne to win because we disliked Toni. Toni Storm is the best wrestler in the company right now. She's the best act, the best wrestler in the company, maybe the world. Like, she's incredible. So it had nothing to do with that. But the way that this played out, I actually think they made the right decision by Toni retaining. And I think they did the right thing because Megan Bayne looked like a powerful beast throughout this match. She was tossing Toni around the whole time.
That I'll say negatively about this was I didn't like the overuse of assistance by Penelope Ford.
It's fair.
I didn't think that was needed.
But that all built to the Luther thing, or with him getting her out of there.
Right. Yeah, which was amazing. So
yeah.
I was like, all right, I have to be okay with this in order to get that.
Yeah. Another thing that I loved is when they had Megan Bayne kick out of Storm Zero at 1.
At 1.
Awesome.
That right there, that's when I said, oh, she can lose. Okay. Awesome. I'm totally fine with it now.
That was awesome.
Because that was incredible.
Yeah. Very good. Very, very good. Yeah, I thought this was a good match. This is a feud that I want them to fight again. Like, I think they will. I want this to keep going. I want this to keep going.
There was something that I didn't see it, but I saw when I was scrolling through Twitter earlier. There was like a backstage thing with Megan really mad.
She like the camera just kind of approached her and Penelope turned around and said, she doesn't want to talk to anybody. And Megan just kind of grabbed the camera and she went like one of these things where they like shoved the camera.
Yeah, okay.
Get away from me. That type of thing. So I don't think she said anything. Penelope was the only one, at least what I saw, Penelope was the only one that talked. She was just like, she doesn't want to talk to anybody. Like, she's pissed. But I thought this was a good match. I thought this was a very good match. It was the whole match was Toni fighting from the bottom. The whole match was Toni fighting from the bottom.
It made Megan Bayne look great.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that any outcome where she lost was going to be good for her. but they did it great in this match.
I agree. They did it very well, and I love the whole ending sequence. She hits the Storm Zero. Megan Bayne kicks out at 1. Then she hits the big lariat, right? Then she hits a Liger bomb, and then she's like yelling at the crowd, and Megan Bayne looks like it's like, holy shit, she's going to do it. She's going to beat her. And she lifts her up for the Fate's Descent after kicking out at 1, and it's like, holy shit, Megan Bayne, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And then Tony just reverses out of it into the small package, and she gets the roll-up victory, and Megan gets immediately up, and she's like she can't believe it. And I was just like, that was actually like a really good way to end that match, because Megan was dominating and she should have won. But the veteran Tony, the reversal, the roll-up, like it's, she didn't dominantly beat her.
Right.
She just rolled her up and got, like she got away with one. She got away with one,
Yeah, if it was hit the finish, clean win, then I would have been upset.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this was done beautifully.
Yeah, very good. Another beautiful thing. Again, he never wins matches, but I have yet to see a match with Mark Briscoe that I have not liked. I have yet to see a match with this man as a singles guy, as a tag team guy, where I did not leave the match going, man, that was fun. That was a lot of fun right there, man. I fucking love Mark Briscoe, man. I love Kyle Fletcher too, but I fucking love Mark Briscoe, man. This match ruled. One of the best matches of the night. One of the best matches of the night. Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe. I mean, we can talk about all the spots if you want, or whatever you want to dive into this match. I just thought that this match was a hell of a time. It was awesome. And Kyle Fletcher fucking rules, man.
Kyle Fletcher, I love you. I just want you to know that. Hopefully
rules.
Somebody clips this and sends it to you.
He's so good, man. He's so good.
I love you. That's all I can say. Pink looks great on you, and I love you. That's you are. I mean, for someone to specifically be for pretty much their whole career a tag team guy, and then his tag partner gets injured, and he knocks it out of the damn park as a singles guy.
Yeah, just for the record, guys, when they signed Kyle Fletcher, this was not the plan.
No.
For Kyle Fletcher. This was maybe down the line, yes. But right now, this quickly after signing him a year and a half, 2 years ago, whenever it was, this was not the plan. But Mark Davis got hurt, and they gave this kid an opportunity, and he fucking knocked it out of the park and has done so with every opportunity they've given him. And he is a top, I'm not joking. To me, he's a top 5 guy in the company. Total package. Total package. Top 5 guy in the company. Now, I'm not saying he should win the world title tomorrow. There's plenty of time to get him there. Just keep doing what you're doing with them. But when I'm talking total package right here, that guy to me is a top 10 at worst, but that's a top 5. Like, he has turned himself into a no doubt, like, pillar of this company moving forward.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
And it is crazy. It's crazy how good he's been since he was given that opportunity. Like, he saw an opportunity and he was like, okay, well, I'm never looking back. I'm never looking back. Very good.
I thought he was going to look terrible with the shaved head. Looks great.
No, it works. It works. Everything works. Everything works. All right. You know what didn't work? Chris Jericho.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's my thing. All right. Ring of Honor World Championship, title versus mask. Chris Jericho defending against Bandito. I like Bandito. I like Bandito a lot. And I know that there was a lot of things that happened in this match. There was literally the end of the match, and then there was things that happened that had the match continue again, and then there was a completely different ending to the match. Okay, so I understand there was a lot of, nonsense here. However you feel about Chris Jericho as a person or the character that we're watching on television, that is your right to feel. I'm speaking objectively about what I see. The dude is washed. He's washed. Now, again, you're talking about one of the all-time greats in the ring. You can't, nobody can debate that. Like, he is one of the best to ever do it. Ever. It's in-ring, character-wise, reinvention-wise, there's no debate, whether you like him or you don't. In the ring, it's done. It's done. I do not think that he can put on great matches anymore. Do I think he can put on a serviceable match? With Bandito is a great fucking wrestler. A great wrestler. Can he put on a serviceable match, if you want to call what we saw tonight serviceable, with a great opponent like Bandito? Yeah. Yeah. But he can't put on good to great matches anymore. He just can't. We haven't seen one from him in a long time. And right now, in 2025, I do not know what value Chris Jericho brings to you as a company. Now, it's, well, maybe not as a company, because he is a name still, but like in ring on the TV show, even not even in ring, just character wise in ring. Like, I'm sure Jericho being at press things is, that would work. He's Chris Jericho. He's still a name. Yeah. But like on the television show, I don't know what Chris Jericho could bring to any company in 2025, unless you're like a smaller company that will, like if MLW or like a smaller company like that got somebody. Like if he showed up in TNA, it wouldn't matter for me, but for certain people that would matter. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I guess he could, he was just asked the other day about maybe going back to WWE at some point, and he was like, if everything worked out, maybe blah, blah. And I was like, man, at this, I just don't know what value he would bring. So I'm not even talking about like the learning tree or the vortex of Jericho or, whatever you feel about him personally. I'm talking about what I see in the ring, and I haven't seen a good match from the guy in a long time. In a long time.
Yeah.
So at some point, Tony, and look you needed him. You needed him to start the company. You needed him to be the first champion. You needed him to dominate that first year of the company as a stable name that you needed him. AEW needed him. It would not have succeeded without him. But 6 years later, in 2025, you don't need him anymore. You don't need him anymore. On TV. You want to use his brain, dude? You want to use his wrestling brain? You want to use, he's been in the business for 35 years. Like, you want to use that side of him? Yeah. Yeah, you should. But on TV, as part of the show, you don't need him anymore, man. You have a roster full of people that still, some of them can't get on the TV show because we have to have Jericho on for 15 minutes a week. Why? Why? He brings nothing to the product.
The New York Minute.
He brings nothing of positivity to the product.
Yeah, it's I did not care about this match at all.
At all.
Number
one. And I think that's a disservice to Bandito, because Bandito's great. Yeah. Bandito's great.
Yeah, I agree. I did not care about this. When the first finish happened, I was kind of in disbelief because I couldn't believe that was actually the case.
I almost blacked out. I almost blacked out. When they did the first thing, I was like, no fucking way. No way. No way they did that.
Because
I was like, is Bandito just going to be some handsome Lothario under that mask? And he's just going without the mask.
Well, hey, I mean, he could be a gorgeous man. We don't even know.
No.
But when he hits him with the bat.
Yep.
And then so incredibly slowly crawls back to him to make the pin.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is a slow pin for a reason.
Yeah.
He's gonna kick out.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't kick out.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Now I will say, as much as I did not care about this at all, I liked the second part.
Well, yeah, because I think the only thing we cared about was getting the belt off Jericho. Because the only thing we cared about was like put the Ring of Honor title on somebody that's gonna do good things for the Ring of Honor title.
But not just because of that, though. But I liked the family aspect of it, and
so
the family.
We're gonna disagree here.
Oh, really? You didn't
Well, I
like
know
that?
I like the family aspect of it because of what happened at Revolution. I like that part of it. However, do you know how many I've been watching wrestling for a long time, Drew? Do you know how many bullshit finishes
Well, this
I've
I wasn't
watched?
talking about. I wasn't talking about the referee part of
Yeah, but do you
this.
know where I'm going? Do you know how many bullshit finishes I've watched where the crowd has been yelling at the ref that something happened and they've never even decided to change? Since when is this a precedent?
I
What
know.
since when do they
This I agree with
establish
you
this
on.
precedent that the referee didn't see? Last time I checked in pro wrestling, if you didn't see shit, you didn't see shit. You didn't see shit. Your referee's call is final. I
The
didn't
whole
I didn't see it.
reason,
I
the
didn't
whole
see it.
reason why there was a three-way match for a title on this show was for literally the same exact thing
Yes.
of
Remember when
somebody
I was
cheated.
arguing saying you can't look at replay and see that Ricochet fucking cheated and put his foot on the ropes, but you can reverse this. We can reverse this.
Yeah.
But you couldn't go back and say, Ricochet cheated. It should just be Speedball and Kenny. Not complaining because, by God, when we get to that match. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was the only thing that I didn't like. That was the only thing I didn't like. I like the family aspect. I like how the daughter slapped Jericho, or the sister. Was that the sister? Is that his
I think it
wife?
was a sister.
Yeah. Slapped Jericho across the face. I love the mom getting involved because that all made sense because he bullied the younger brother last month. So that all made sense. And I love the family being there when Bandito got the belt and his family's there. I'm all in on that. Like that's a good moment. That makes you feel good. Cool. I'm all for that. I'm not all for reversing a decision. So you're telling me that if all of a sudden, I'm trying to think of like one of the great finishes of all time that was like cheating. Like, so if you're telling me that like wrestler A gets cheated, but his mom's in row 2 and she's like, hey, that guy cheated. The ref can be like, oh, wait a minute. Wait, oh, we gotta go back. Oh, wait, no. Oh. I don't like that. I don't like that. That part of it I didn't like. But other than that, I mean, look I cared about Bandito winning the world title and getting it off Jericho, and we got to that. Just Jericho can't have a good, like, Bandito is a great wrestler, and this match was poor at best. Serviceable at best, I would say. Serviceable at best. Jericho is done. He just wasn't a good match.
What will hopefully happen, which is what I think I said this on Thursday, what would be now a new thing for the learning tree aspect of this is they have a segment where Jericho walks up to them and berates them for losing.
Yeah.
Even though Jericho also lost.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they start to question this and go, oh, okay, we see what's going on here. And that's the way that we end up getting Jericho split from them. Because Big Bill and Keith, oh my God, I'm jumbling all my names. It's very late. Brian Keith here are really, really good, and I enjoyed the tag team match.
Yeah, it was good.
Big Bill is over.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably going to be Big Bill that ends up having, maybe, I will say, hopefully, to go with what you were saying, Jericho's last match. And Big Bill puts him to pasture, and now he's not wrestling anymore. That would be nice. So, but definitely this is I can see Jericho berating them for losing.
Yeah, and then they go, hey, you lost too, buddy. You don't get to talk to us like that anymore.
Right.
You don't get to talk to us like that anymore. Not anymore. You got nothing over our heads anymore. I do think this is the catalyst to get them broken apart because I very much enjoy them as a tag team if they want to keep them a tag team or if they just want to split them in general. But yeah, Big Bill specifically is very over. All right, we then had the AEW TNT Championship match. No time limit, no outside interference. It was Daniel Garcia defending against Adam Cole, baby. Drew, another match I very much enjoyed. Another match I very much enjoyed with these two. I feel bad for Daniel Garcia because they really just did not give him a good title reign at all.
I agree with you.
But this was a good match between the two. Hopefully not the last match between the two, but it might be for a little bit. But I thought this was a good match between them. I liked Daniel Garcia pulling out the Panama Sunrise on Adam Cole.
Yeah.
I thought that was a very cool spot. They were working on Cole's, like Cole was selling the bad ankle or knee injury, and Garcia wasn't working heel, but he was definitely doing a lot of limb work. He had that kind of.
He had more of the heel role of the match.
Yes. But at the end, Adam Cole gets the pinfall victory, winning his first ever title in AEW since joining them. And he is your new AEW TNT champion. So we will have to see what is next for Adam Cole and really what's next for Daniel Garcia. But again, I thought a good bout between the two, but we get a new champion. Adam Cole, Bebe, is the TNT champion. Good to see him get some gold. Like I said, the first belt he's won in AEW.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have to see where everything goes. But I thought it was a good match between the two. I thought it was a good match.
Yeah, I agree.
I liked it. I would have liked Daniel Garcia to have more matches like that since he won the TNT title. So it wasn't like we had this good one, but it's over. Great. He could have been doing that for the last 4 or 5 months, and that would have been fine. But, I mean, it is what it is. But then, Drew, I mean, the match of the night, I don't even think it's close. Ospreay and Kevin Knight may be close, but this triple threat match for the international championship between Kenny Omega, Speedball Mike Bailey, and Ricochet. I mean,
I actually think this slightly edges out match of the night for me.
It was so good. Speedball Mike Bailey was a fucking animal in this match. All three guys were great in this match, but Speedball was, dude. He went, and we kind of talked about it on Thursday, how like, we all picked the victor. We know who was going to win this match, but we said this was going to be a match that made showcase Speedball, and it was going to make Speedball look like the star that he is. But this was his like official arrival, and holy shit, Speedball was incredible in this three-way. Damn. But this three-way was just terrific all the way around. I don't even have a list of all the spots in this match. There were so many of them.
And I will say once again, Ricochet played his role to perfection in this match.
Yeah.
Just like he did in the match that got him in this spot.
Mm-hmm.
He took control of the outside of the ring. He picked his spots, where to come in, where to hit a move, and he did it basically for the whole match.
Yep.
And that is how a good heel should work.
Yep.
And that more heels don't do this is incredible to me.
Yep. Yep. I do like how that your cat sitting next to you is just absurd right there.
I know, right?
Like he's just looking straight up in the like he's just like,
are you drunk or something?
That is insane. Just the way he's laying down right there. He's just like, oh, looks like me. Looks like me in cat form. Oh, man. Tremendous.
And then the other one's up here sleeping.
Yeah, just sleeping. That's Lou. That would be Lou up there, just passed out. This guy, though, I'm in on this guy. I like this guy. Let me tell you, man. I also love Ricochet's shtick now where he like goes and does commentary during the multi-man matches. Like when he's involved in a multi-man match, he's like, I'm going to go talk on commentary for the next 60 seconds and just talk shit and talk about how great I am and just yell at everybody. I'm into that. I like when he does that. But you know what else I loved was the ending segment of like the ending of this match.
Yeah.
when Speedball pulled out the crane kick on Ricochet, kicked his fucking head off. He did the crane kick, and Ricochet was like, "What the fuck is this?" He's like, Megan, he's like, "Come on, you shitting me, dude?" And Ricochet's like, just like, okay, whatever, this nerd with this crane kick here. And he runs at him, and Speedball just right in the chin. And Ricochet just dropped. And just the way commentary sold it, beautiful. And then the whole ending sequence where Kenny hits all right, so Speedball hits the Ultima weapon, that his kick on Ricochet.
Yeah.
He's going for the win. Omega just shows up in screen and just hits him with the V trigger to stop the count. And then he lifts him up to give him the one-winged angel. But Ricochet comes from behind and pushes Kenny to the corner, which puts Speedball like on the corner,
Right.
and Kenny is standing. Then Ricochet gives Kenny a very gnarly looking poison run. It looked like Kenny Omega landed right on the top of his fucking head. He gives him a gnarly poison rana. Then Ricochet goes to the top rope, and Speedball's fighting him, but he's trying to give Speedball a reverse suplex off the top rope, like a super reverse suplex. And Speedball's punching, and he's fighting, and he's punching, and Ricochet goes for it like a third time. And at this point, Omega is back on his feet, and Omega gets to the ropes, and he lifts Ricochet up in the electric chair position, and he gives him an avalanche one-winged angel off the second rope. And he covers him, and Speedball then, who's like he was sitting up, but his back is to everything. He falls back and his feet are caught in a tree of woe position, and he's reaching, and he's actually grabbing Ricochet's foot, trying to pull him to break up the pin, but he just can't reach it with a good enough grasp.
Yeah,
and Omega pins
so
Ricochet.
good.
I fucking loved it. Oh, it was so good. This match was fucking incredible. Just an incredible match by three incredible
And as
wrestlers.
we're talking about it, Ricochet just tweeted, "Once again, I am screwed out of a title match."
You know? I mean,
he weren't screwed this time.
He wasn't screwed. No, he
But,
lost fair and square, I
man,
think. But
this was-
what a fucking match, Drew.
This was my match of the night.
Oh.
There were a lot of there were some very good matches on the
There
show.
were. There were.
The opener was
very good.
The opener was the 1B for me.
Yep.
This was the 1A.
Yep.
And this was if you notice too, this show had a bunch of pay-per-view debuts.
Yep.
Speedball,
Mm-hmm.
Megan Bayne,
Yep.
Kevin Knight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm sure Julia Hart has had a pay-per-view
Oh yeah,
match,
of course.
right?
Yeah, she was champs. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a Bandito technically.
No.
No. Well, for AEW, I don't know.
Didn't he come back and debut at an AEW pay-per-view, and then he got concussed immediately?
No, that was.
Was that on Dynamite?
I thought that was on Collision.
Maybe.
I could be wrong. That was when it was on one of the TV shows when they were here at the Hammerstein.
Oh yeah, that might be right. But
yeah, so this was once again just like it was for Kevin Knight, just like it was for Megan Bayne, star-making performance. AEW made 3 awesome stars in Megan, Kevin Knight, and Speedball tonight. Just outstanding performances by all 3. And this was like the perfect type of match to debut in a pay-per-view for Speedball Mike Bailey.
Yeah. Incredible. And he's been there for a while. He did the first couple rounds of the tournament to get to this match tonight. But I know we talked about it, and this match did exactly for Speedball what it needed to do. Because I've been saying it from the jump, Drew, and I know you've agreed with me, and anybody who's ever watched Speedball agrees with us. This guy is money. This guy is money.
Yeah.
You just got to present him like that from the jump. And I think as a debut pay-per-view match for this big first spotlight match, man, and Kenny Omega gave a lot. Kenny Omega gave a lot in this match. He took a lot of offense from both guys, but he gave a lot to Speedball in this match. He gave
much
a
creative
lot
stuff in this match.
There really
Like,
was.
The double teaming that they would do, but then also each person did multiple, like the same move to, like, you know, like a double teaming finisher.
Yeah.
And it was so good. This match was so good.
Kenny hit a double. Kenny hit a double dragon. Like when he does those snapdragon suplexes, he hit a double one to both of them. I agree, Fernando. Speedball was the MVP of this match. All three of these guys were excellent in this match, as you would expect. But I thought Speedball was the MVP of this match, and I think the match was designed for that exactly to happen. Exactly. Now, if you really want me, I think Speedball should be the guy that goes after Adam Cole. If we're probably talking here, right? Even though I feel like Adam Cole needs to defend the belt and win some defenses here, obviously. But like, and I don't know if you want, again, like Speedball and Kevin Knight are two guys to me that you don't want them coming out of these losses continuing to lose.
Right.
Like, even though they lost both these matches, they came out winners tonight. So you want to put them in situations.
Do a TNT title
tournament, maybe. But then you have Speedball in another tournament right out the chute. He was in a tournament for this, then he's in a tournament for that. You know, I don't know.
No.
I'm just trying to think of where they go, because I do think that they should be put in positions to win matches and continually win matches. So then they can be fighting for titles. Because obviously after this match, we saw Kazuchika Okada make his entrance to the ring to square up with Kenny Omega. And Kenny left relatively quickly. He didn't like stay for a super duper long look at each other, but he acknowledged Okada, and then he got the hell out of there. Just wrestled like a 35-minute match. He was probably dying. But that happened. So obviously we are on a collision course for Okada and Omega, most likely to unify those titles, I would think. But we are on a collision course for that. Yeah. And then, Drew, we already talked about the main event at length to start the show. So that was the whole show of Dynasty. Again, overall, I thought it was a good show. I'm not even soured on the ending. I just need some answers. I just need some answers about it. Obviously, I look at that fucking cat. First of all, look. Oh, he just curled the legs. He's just like, oh. The problem is, you can't move now.
Yeah.
So once this is over, if you move, you ruin. Is that the girl or the guy?
This is the guy. Yeah.
Yeah. That looks like a boy cat doing that shit. The girls up there being all delicate, sleeping where you're actually supposed to sleep, looking all, and this cat's just like, oh, I love this chair. Oh my God. Anyway, we got to get the hell out of here.
He doesn't do this very often.
No, he knows. He knows he's on. Come on. You don't think Lou, do you know how often Lou pops up on this desk when I'm not live? Fucking never. Fucking never.
Yeah. Didn't you said that there was a question that you were gonna.
Well, yes, no. Earlier on, somebody asked, what would we give AEW Dynasty out of 10? So that's how I was going to actually end this before we head on out. I was going to say out of 10, or if you want to do letter grade, whatever is better for you. How would you rate AEW Dynasty?
I would say probably like an 8.
That's kind of where I'm at. I'm at like a solid B. I'm at a solid B to B plus, 80, 8, 8, 8.2, 8.3 out of 10. I thought, again, I know people are going to be immediately soured over the main event.
Yeah.
Because I get it. I understand that. But I think with the Bucks showing up again, there's just a lot of unanswered questions that we need answered. And I'm not saying that I'm betting on AEW to tell us everything that makes sense, but we at least need to hear before we do, So, and I think you put it a good way where you said, I'm not upset that Moxley lost because the Bucks coming back isn't the same old. Like if the Death Riders just would have came in, took out Hangman, and then Mox just won, I think we'd be feeling a lot different with the Young Bucks showing up. It's something new.
My reaction at the end of Revolution would have been my exact reaction tonight.
Yes, but I think the Young Bucks showing up at least is something new that I don't think any of us were kind of expecting here.
No.
So we have, in my opinion, and I know Drew and I have said very similar sentiments earlier on in the show, I think we need to wait, most likely and hopefully until Wednesday, when we hear what was the reasoning, why, what happened, and then we can probably make, by the time we're live on Thursday morning for Firmly AEW, we'll probably have more of a solid opinion, I would think, on how we feel about the Bucks showing up and spoiling the party and helping Jon Moxley retain the AEW champion. Drew, I'm right with you. I'll give it a solid 8 as well. I don't think it was good enough to be an 8.5, but I definitely don't think it was in the 7s. I don't think it was in the 7s. So
because
I'll stick.
Nearly every match was
there wasn't
good.
There wasn't a bad match. I would say the Jericho Bandito match to me was the low point of the night.
Jericho Bandito. My reasoning for the 8 were my low points were Penelope kind of being a little too much
involved
with the assistants.
Okay, that's fair.
And then Jericho Bandito and Mercedes and Julia Hart not quite living up to what I thought it would be.
That's fair. That's fair. I like it. All right, Drew. It's late. Thank you for everyone tuning in. Fernando, though, again, we talked about it at length. I know you came in kind of late. We talked about it at length at the start of the show. Right now, we don't know enough, I think, because Fernando said the Bucks helping Mox makes no sense. And I said right now, and I don't want me and Drew talked about it for a half hour at the beginning of the show, so you can go back and really, but I'll kind of lay it out the way that me and Drew came to it. I don't think we know enough right now for us to say that it did not make sense, because the last time we saw the Young Bucks, the Death Riders were looking for them, and they were in their office shredding documents, and then they were rushing and fleeing out of the arena so the Death Riders did not find them. And that was literally the last time we saw them for like 6 months, 5 months.
Yeah.
Actually, no. That happened before Moxley won the title, right? Or was it right after he won the title? Because they were around. They were around.
Right.
Yeah, because they were around when Moxley and stuff were like beating up AEW wrestlers, because the Bucks could have done something for a few weeks and didn't.
Right. Because remember, that was when Jack Perry was pulling them away.
Yes. So the last time we saw the Bucks, they were doing shady shit and avoiding the Death Riders who were looking for them. And then we didn't see them for months and months and months and months. And now all of a sudden,
little Japan thing and whatever.
Correct. And now all of a sudden we come back. They come back tonight to help Mox, who's anti-AEW, retain and keep the belt. So obviously,
and they didn't.
I would think one has to do with the other.
They didn't look like they were too upset about what they were doing.
No, they were like counting the 3 on the outside when the shit was like Nick Jackson was like counting the 3. So they look like they were very happy with what they did and how that ended. They look like they were happy. Whether that's more of an anti-swerve thing than a pro Death Riders thing, I don't know what the Bucks are going to do. But I would happen to think that it's going to be revolving around the Death Riders, because there was some shady shit going on.
I don't remember if there was a point where Swerve and the Young Bucks had interaction.
I'm not going to remember that. That's too long ago. That's too long ago for me.
I just don't remember.
Yeah. But all right, Drew, we got to get the heck up on it here. Thank you for everyone tuning in tonight on Twitch, YouTube, and on Twitter. Will Ospreay, he might just be. But that's at All In, bro. So we still got to get through Double or Not. We got 2 or 3 months till that happens. So we'll see. We'll see. But Drew, do your thing. Plug yourself real quickly, and then we'll get out of here.
At the Drew Nicholas on Twitter and Blue Sky, Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast, Firmly LW, our Firmly Love Wrestling Twitter account on Twitter. Go follow there. We're starting to get more active. And yeah, your turn.
JPJ Loves Gaming, all social media platforms, even on the Twitch. We play video games sometimes. I try to play them good. Most of the time I do not. But we have a good time over there. You know where you can find me and Firmly. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. at least through this week. If you guys watched us last week, you know in real life I got a new shoot job, so I should be figuring out what my schedule looks like towards the end of this week. So by the end of this week, you should have more of a sense. But we're not going anywhere. We might just have to change the schedule a little bit to kind of fit what me and Drew got going on. But be on the lookout for that. Follow us on Firmly Love Wrestling on Twitter. Like Drew said, we'll have all the info up there. But this week, you can find us at our normal time, Tuesday and Thursday, 10 a.m. WWE on Tuesdays, AEW on Thursdays. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Between Two Beards with Pluggo, the flagship show here at Love Wrestling. Tomorrow night, after Monday Night Raw, you can catch me on bodyslam.net. doing the Raw Dogs post show, and then be on the lookout. So we were hoping to start this Wednesday. I don't know if we still will, but I should have something else being announced with Body Slam coming up in the next few weeks. Again, me getting this job at this time, like right near Mania season, where Pluggo and I are getting invited on other things because it's Manias, and I'm just like, there's too much happening. I couldn't, I had to, it was an opportunity I couldn't pass up, and I'm glad that everything worked out and I got it. But I'm like, man, if this could have just happened in May, I feel like everything would have been a lot smoother. Like Manias, it's just, there's a lot going on. But regardless, that's where you can find us. You can find me and Drew Tuesday morning. Just one, technically 2 sleeps from now at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, talking about some WWE. That's where you can find us. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you all. For Drew, for myself, this was Firmly AEW Reacts for AEW Dynasty. And until next time, y'all know the drill. Peace out.